Good morning and welcome to Breakfast Central. It's a brand new week here. Lots of exciting activities have happened over the course of the weekend. And we'll be bringing you some of the stories that have been following up from last week up until this week. And I'm sure that Breakfast Extra has started on some of the stories. You're welcome to the show. I am Olive MOD.
And I'm Gbenga. I trust you had a pleasant weekend. Congratulations to Joe and our teams qualified for Champions League. Newcastle finished 5th, and
can you see the way
you know, on the same point.
Nothing to your shoulder.
Yeah.
Yes,
your team just
Chelsea are also in the Champions League. But Chelsea's story is remarkable. It's not by how you start; it's how you finish.
Thank you.
There was a time you guys were 19th, I believe.
13th.
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 And now you are what?
Table and they
fourth, and we qualified for the Champions League, and hopefully this week we're going to win the conference.
I'm wearing blue in
and then we'll thank you so much. And then we'll decide if we really want to play in the Europa League or want to stick to the UEFA Champions League. It's a choice we have to
Champions League
make.
is where the big boys.
But of course, Champions League has more money.
The big boys are Champions League. That's where we at.
You see, I'm going to be talking with a lot of pride today.
Johansson,
that's what it is.
calm down.
But for
They're not the
Manchester,
use pride of football team. Make mouth for public.
but for Manchester United,
he has the bragging rights. Let him shine, please.
It's a bragging rights for Man U. I'm so sorry. I mean,
I'm a Man U fan, by the way.
I'm so sorry, by the way.
Not that
you guys, you won yesterday by 2-0, but
yes,
unfortunately.
Oh, thank you. If Man U had not beaten Villa, Newcastle would not have qualified.
So you should be thanking
Newcastle
thank you for the
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. See, you don't used to tie football club winning or losing to the chest. If not, you have high blood pressure.
No, but
you will not rest.
But I don't.
At least when you win, you celebrate.
And if you lose, we try again. We move.
I mean, there are videos of people online who had. I mean, that's why I want people to be careful. Betting and all that, it could throw you into a serious situation where you hardly recover from.
It's a vice.
So they have to be careful. They showed people yesterday crying.
I'm looking forward to the area boys in Lagos next year. Share City One Champions League. It will be fun. The banter. So welcome back to the Big Boys Club. I know it's been a while since you've played in
just 2 seasons. We've not been in the Champions League for 2 seasons.
It's not just 2 seasons is a lot.
No, it's just 2 seasons.
Newcastle too. Last time we were in Champions League was 2 seasons ago.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Right before 2 seasons, what happened?
Let's start from 2 seasons ago.
Okay.
Anyway, you have Man U to thank for helping you, qualify for the
Congratulations
Champions
to you.
League.
I'll buy you lunch. What do you feel like having for lunch?
It's been
no, I'm sorry. You need heavenly food. Something like manna and egg. Manna from heaven with a little bit of egg and okra.
Which restaurant sells manna?
Why did we stop producing manna?
What did they worry this man?
I don't know what Gbenga is. There anything inside that cup? Anyway, welcome, guys. Yeah, I mean, let's go straight to our stories for today. First of all, it was a good weekend.
It was a great weekend.
Football. It was also a good weekend for you.
I was in the state of emergency.
Yes, you were there.
How was the atmosphere? Do you feel tense?
Interestingly, the atmosphere did not feel as tense as
exactly.
I mean, life goes on.
People just felt chill, like life goes on. Everybody is going about their business. In fact, I went to one corner to go and buy boli. I see the way they were rushing me. I had to come and buy boli. It was so. Port Harcourt was a fun place. It didn't feel tense. However, Port Harcourt is not as cheap as I expected it to be. I went to buy an outfit and I was just like...
Maybe you went to the VIA and...
It's a lie. I even went into the market. There's one place, I've forgotten their names. Went to like 7 stores. The price they were giving me is Lagos price. I said,
how did you go? Like this?
Maybe
it depends on your appearance.
Skin popping.
You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, you should have gone with the bathroom slippers, a short, and then with your hair.
I was on the phone with my friend and she said, you are still speaking English. They will give you
exactly.
You better speak pidgin.
Now you've explained yourself.
You've explained yourself.
Port Harcourt is not that expensive. You are the one that didn't act like a Roman in Rome.
Yes. Valid point.
Anyway, talking about sports and celebration, I don't know if you guys saw what happened at the National Sports Festival at the MK Abiola Township Stadium in Ogun State. We're about going into it was a 10,000 kilometer race, and while the athletes were strutting, running, doing their stuff, lo and behold, NEPA power went off. Lights went off, and you see these athletes running. Now, they couldn't see where they were running to.
Hey.
And everybody cheering them had to now bring out their mobile devices.
My God.
And then they decided to do this, put on touch lights, just like what I have on my phone here. And they were saying, woo,
Hey, God.
Just to cheer them, woo, and they were running. So you see an athlete running, trying to say, where am I?
You know, watching out for the other.
Yes, athletes, so you don't kick the other one.
We have a video of that.
Yes, there's a video.
I'm sure
there's a video also online.
And then when we come back to take a look, come back from that video, then we'll share our thoughts about this. But what is
it's something else. But anyway, I hope the director will be able to get that video up for us in the course of the conversation.
For something of this magnitude, a national sports festival, how long would they even be in the stadium for the day? And knowing that it's a night event, you would rather put your power on generator. At least you can guarantee that, because PHCA has a way of playing yo-yo, and you can't tell when they'll take lights or not. You think when people have weddings and event
I was just
centers,
about to say that.
You think they
now when people
just
do events,
they use that.
It's common sense. Nobody relies on any of the electricity distribution companies. It's common sense to have a backup plan on. It's why when you pay for weddings and all, the moment it's time for your event, the generator comes on and does not go off until your event is done. They even have standby, so that even if there's a transition, it's like a split second or a seamless transition. It is really embarrassing that something at the level of National Sports Festival and we're having power going off. It's such a shame. Again, it goes back to the priority that we've placed in our sporting ministry, the priority that we've placed on sports in Nigeria. It's here you'll be hearing conversations about athletes not being adequately paid, or they're flown to one country, or they've been abandoned. And you're asking, was there a budget? Did they have a budget?
Was this budget followed through with? It's going to happen again, because this is what we do. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's almost expected. They'll say, Nigeria way. Nigeria is almost synonymous with things not functioning properly
or normally.
Synonymous with anomalies and dysfunction. It's really terrible. We need to step up. I wonder where we'll start from, but I think the National Orientation Agency, they're trying to rejig the system. But I don't know how, because there's so much information overload. I don't know how they will get the message into everybody's ears, because people are distracted. You have phones, you have social media, you have news. Not how many people can sit there for 1 hour. You remember when we used to watch NTA News at 9? I'm sure so many households used to watch your Newsline on Sundays, but now it's hard to get attention span. Exactly.
I think they have their work cut out for them, in the sense that they could make use of the social media spaces that are available. For instance, TikTok is available. If you have influencers, now I mean influencers who are smart. I don't mean influencers with numbers.
Who embodied the message they are passing.
Who would come out and say, okay, these are 5 things. I mean, I'm in a group, it's a PR group, and the current conversation that started off on Friday is still on till this morning. And the question is how to rebrand Nigeria. There are lots of, everybody was talking, and somebody said, how are you going to rebrand Nigeria when we have so much negativity in terms of coming from, okay, take a look at the interview we had with the governor of Borno State. I talked about insecurity, how you have people
the police every other day, they're in the news for bad
the recent issue that happened in Ibadan, trying to shoot the tire to demobilize.
And there's another one in Abuja over the weekend. Yes.
Branding, for those who, it's going to be a tough task for you to really sit down and say, let's rebrand something that
So why not focus on the positives or amplify the positives?
That's it. So they will now listen to the positives. Okay, let's see what we can do this, do that. So it seems like if you really want to look at rebranding Nigeria in terms of rebranding it, you can't run away from those who have done very well, who have represented us internationally, globally. I'm talking about the entertainment and creative space. You can't run away from that.
Sports.
The biggest AI robotics African is Nigeria.
Sports, fintech,
paid.
Yes.
Sports, you can't run away from that. Creative space in all. Entertainment, the Weezies, the Burner Boys, and so on. But when you come down to the political
class,
and the other space, you now start seeing.
And the Nigerian police, those ones need a different rebranding on their own.
It's a different rebranding, complete. Then the Nigerians, all of us, it's a hard nut to crack, because to tell every single Nigerian that, listen, do this. I mean, the president said, buy Nigeria, right?
Yeah.
We're waiting to see the next set of convoy, or the convoy. Or better still, we're waiting to see the fiscal policy, or better still, the monies that would be, pushed out, especially to the National Assembly. Let's see
if
what will
they'll
be
prioritize
approved.
local content or not.
See, are we going to see the Nigerian cars there? Are we going to see a lot? A lot is in store. But anyway, lights going out of the stadium. Hopefully, we thought we'd have that video to show to you. It didn't look that good, but then again,
But then again, I would say that our sports sector, again, I hope that this shows how much little priority we've given to sports in Nigeria. Sports is such a huge part of national development. It's giving opportunity to a number of young people to be able to push their careers internationally. We've seen how look at us starting the conversation this morning talking about Chelsea and all the football clubs, the Champions League. If we're going to be able to play at those big leagues and be able to play on certain levels, we must be able to put our house in order and not be having experiences like the one we're about to show you in this video. As heartbreaking and maybe as embarrassing as that video is, if there's anything to take away, any positive to take away, it will be the unbeatable spirit of our athletes who, in the face of situations that seem to overwhelmingly subdue their ability to showcase their art and their craft and their talent, they're still able to forge ahead. Imagine running and the lights go off and not being, taken aback by what has happened, but still pushing ahead. You could see them still running in the
simply
darkness.
put, in darkness, they found light at the end of the tunnel.
That's a good one.
Yes.
And that's the reality of every Nigerian, to be honest. A number of us have had to walk and live through debilitating conditions.
It's a double-edged sword.
Even in the midst of all that, Nigerians, we have a
they say
a spirit that is never dying.
Olive, we always celebrate our spirit of resilience, but I see it as a double-edged sword.
Tell us.
Number one, it's good to persevere and, be resilient as a people. But when does it stop? Because it also makes, the other side of it is, it makes people that are responsible for doing their jobs relax that after all, they'll take it, And then you push a Nigerian to the wall. At what point do you push back? Because he breaks the wall and it keeps going.
It's another place.
It has bad road, buys SUV, no water, no pipe-borne water, drill a borehole, no electricity by generator or solar. And people that are meant to provide these things are just, going about their regular lives, drive around Lagos, and you'll be shocked. And the funds are there.
Yeah. Where does it go to? I mean, there's a new one. We saw what budget just did now, breaking it down. The monies that are being padded into the, come on, and what are Nigerians doing as well?
Trillions.
Maybe that's why politicians work like this, because some of those padding, they add into their shoulder pad.
I see.
Yeah.
I see what you did there. I see. Anyway, let's move to our next story. Yesterday, there was a conversation that started off early in the week from last week, and it finally, metamorphosed
Came
into
to
what
a
we
head.
saw yesterday. And that was because we did see the former governors who met with each other, with the former vice president, not forgetting to, it was a coalition. The coalition talk has continued non-stop, and the plan is to unseat the current ruling party, which is the APC. Now, from the APC, they said, nah, they're just wasting their time. But yesterday, it looked pretty much like, okay, something is starting to happen. You did have Mr. Peter Obi there, His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, not forgetting to Mr. Rabiu Kwankwaso as well, of the Kwankwaso movement. You also had former Governor of River State, Mr. Mechi there as well. And all of them were seated for the coalition meeting. The reason, well, they said it was actually to talk to the people of the North. And then Mr. Peter Obi also gave an address where he spoke about why there's poverty in the north, and why there's so much suffering, and why the northern leaders would need to step up and invest in the north and also in the future of the children. So there you have the footage there. But we also heard that it was marred at certain points
some delegates
by some delegates who engaged in, well, not really fisticuffs, but we did hear that it almost led to that. You know, trading words.
Yeah, Jigawa delegates didn't want the person that was appointed to speak on their behalf. So when the secretary, you know, Nabacha Lawa had said that this is the person who will speak on their behalf, they blocked the stage, refusing to allow the person to speak
kind
on
of like
their behalf.
What happened in Rivers
State. And then
at the town hall, yes.
At the town hall. Why is he speaking? Who is he?
Yeah, but I guess the people have a right to decide who they think will be better suited to represent their interests. You know, eventually, it was the son of former Jigawa State governor that spoke on their behalf.
And sadly, that was one of the biggest takeouts of, I mean, regardless of everything that happened, many people focused on that conundrum.
Yeah, you're right. But what does this mean for Nigerian politics? Well, at the same time, I'm a bit confused. I'll use that word confused because the papers, as at yesterday on Sunday, were putting double headers. The first header was the coalition meeting, which you just saw. The next header was Peter Obi says he's going to run on
Labour Party.
So, I don't know.
Is he going for a coalition? I mean, is he going to run on Labour Party's platform?
I believe it's still early days. It's still early days, and I don't think they've agreed to anything yet. But the biggest news is at least three political heavyweights,
even five,
they're in the same place. So that should send some signals to the ruling APC that, you know, the opposition is getting its act together. They mean business. They will be praying for them not to be able to unify and
they've said it's not going to work.
And they've already said it's not going to work. So I guess we'll play the game of wait and see.
Exactly. I mean, if they work together, you know, for those who are Christians, the Bible talks about the Tower of Babel and how they had to speak multiple languages for that tower not to get to a certain level, because we're trying to build this tower to get to heaven. But, you know, God said, if I allow these people to continue, they will one day get to me. So, you know what? Speak different languages. The vision
and that's where languages like Ibibio, Yoruba, and others came.
Why did you start with Ibibio? Why did you say French?
How do you feel attacked?
But let me also say this, guys. This is the bigger picture. The bigger picture is we've seen the APC moving with serious force to ensure that they galvanize movements within the South, and it's starting to pay off. You do have River State, you do have Delta, Akwa Ibom is looking good, Cross River. So it's like the APC is getting set for 2027 and it's looking very good. Now, if you come to the Southwest, it's also starting to look pretty good one way or the other, especially in the Southwest. But there's a problem, the North. And we do remember what they say about the North.
The North Central, North East, North West,
the North itself,
entire North.
Up North, the entire North. Now, whether you like it or not, whatever, like they say, whatever happens in the North, up North, kind of like trickles down to the Central. So this is starting to become, I think the APC, regardless of whatever they're saying, it's also a cause for worry, because if the Northern leaders, you know, merge together and say this is it.
I can't remember the politician that said this. Let's be careful of not making these mistakes. Governors don't decide votes.
No, they don't.
So you might have governors in the Southeast and the entire South that have endorsed a president, and then on election day you see a different result. So let's not be too excited about saying, once because political analysts tend to do that. Once a governor has decamped or has changed parties, then it means the entire state is going to vote this way. No, the people will decide at the end of the day. So,
I agree.
Yes.
We
also need to remember that factor. That's
I also saw a tweet I wish I shared with you guys. Where is this tweet? I can't seem to find it now.
Okay.
Of course, it's a politician.
What's the idea behind it?
He actually made a tweet, and it's something that you also would want to think about. He said that he is the first to state it here, and is going to make it clear that everyone who is moving to the APC, that there are a few people who are moving there. It's a strategy from the other political parties. Just go there, join them, and destabilize everything in 2027. And I laughed. I'm like, he said, I'm saying it here now, watch and see. And I'm like, okay, drama.
I mean,
Bottom
just
line,
also
drama.
quote something that was attributed to Peter Obi. It was said that he said that the region's struggle with insecurity and rising criminality is not rooted in culture or religion, but in deep systemic poverty. He says, and I quote, "You cannot fight poverty without education, and you cannot fight insecurity without addressing hunger and hopelessness. The North has voted for religion and tribe in the past. Now is the time for competence, character, and a shared national vision." Who will the North be voting
He's
for?
right.
Will it be the coalition or something else?
Reminds us of what's it called? Game of Thrones. When you talk about the North. Yeah.
What's that guy's name called? Forgotten. Yeah, but did you ever watch Game of Thrones?
Oh yes, I love Jide Kosoko's part. It was sweet, it was lovely, you will love it.
You will forgot that Femi Kuti played.
Yeah.
Inside there. There's a scene where he was playing
saxophone.
Two of you. Terrible.
I remember, you're right.
All right, moving away from the conversations about the King of the North or the Kings of the North. Just to wrap things up, Jamb has released results again for the receipt, and there have been reactions from a number of people. People started to share their results. I did see Alex Onya, the CEO of Educare, who has been at the forefront of this conversation, sharing results of some of his students who had done poorly at the first Jamb results this year, but upon the receipt had gotten really good scores. So congratulations to those who have passed, but then again, as usual, there are people who are starting to question the integrity of the receipt exam and wonder if this reveals the actual results of the students.
And when you start to cast doubt on exams, it does something to its reputation, and its authenticity. Because what happened 2 weeks ago? Why is it different now? But for those that passed after seeing the first results that had glitched, the first initial results that had mass failures, congratulations to them. But let's hope lessons have been learned. But I am still concerned, and Madam Obi Ezekwesili, former education minister, also questioned the timing, that it was too early.
Yeah.
He didn't even sit down, take a breather, you know, allow the students to recover psychologically from the trauma. And in less than 2 weeks, they were right in the same.
But just to mention that Alex Onya's students who have done really well do not represent the majority of students' results. According to reports, 70.7% of candidates scored below 200, according to Jamb. This is the rescheduled UTME. Now, let's give you what the numbers are. They say that 1.3 million candidates, representing 70.7%, scored less than 200 points in the 2025 UTME. The examination body then explained that 117,373 candidates scored above 250 points, even as 565,988 polled above 200 points. So there are other numbers here that I'm wondering if it's necessary to read. They said candidates with earlier release results need not recheck their results, as candidates affected by the withdrawal are being notified through text messages on their registered lines and their
And I heard 20,000 people didn't show up for the receipt.
But that's in a way understandable.
I mean, why?
It's bound to happen.
It's understandable
It's bound to
because
happen. Gbenga, people have spent money. They've put their children on classes, you know, getting them ready. Transportation. There was a man who called. I was listening to a radio station while driving sometime before the first one. The man said he had spent so much. He had to lodge the child, not just one, about two of them, feeding, every single thing. Then sometimes he would have to go there. They had to take someone to stay with them so that they would be prepared, both in mind, spirit, body, and everything, prior to the exam. And after everything, it seems like all the monies he wasted, spent, it's gone. So some people, mentally, you want them to come back from that position or that space where they are in a short time and tell them to go back again. You expect them to borrow money again. So there's a lot. Psychologically, I agree. I was thinking that maybe a lot of them would not be able to write these exams, and I'm right, and it happened as well.
Yeah, it's sad that, I mean, it's life. Some that wrote this receipt exam following the glitches still found themselves in stitches. Let's hope Jamb
I think Jamb should have waited.
Better job.
Okay, so just to highlight that the figures we called were for the original one. We don't have the exact figures yet for the receipts.
Okay,
but
great.
we have seen people who have said that they haven't really, I mean, it wasn't much of a difference. But yeah, congratulations to those who have excelled after the receipt exam. I really do hope I wonder about what this might mean for the integrity of Jamb in the coming future. In the past few years, yes, there have been failures, but Professor Oloyede had been commended for a number of the reforms that had come to Jamb, or that he had brought to Jamb. I wonder what the implication of this whole situation will cost for Jamb's integrity in the coming years.
So it's beyond shedding tears. It's doing the work and restoring the integrity.
To be honest, he did try. I think he's done some great work with Jamb before now. It's just unfortunate that this has happened. And, you know, like they say, in many situations, you're as good as your last report. So people then easily would tend to forget all the others. Because I know that it was when he became registrar of Jamb, I heard for the first time that Jamb had remitted monies to federal coffers. I hadn't heard of that in a long time. So you could see that he had realized that there were gaps and there were lacuna for people.
Maybe that means they're charging too much for the forms. And I think you raised it on the day we spoke to the gentleman.
The prices for the forms are too much.
You're not a revenue generating...
that is where the problem is. Like, you're a revenue generating organization to be generating money to give back to the federal government. When Jamb was set up, you know what you were set up for. And
no, but if he's returning money to the federal coffers, monies that were not returned before, it tells us that those monies were going somewhere.
That's fine. But
he also made a request when he seated before the National Assembly. He also made a huge request of how much would be needed to carry out this examination. And the National Assembly they were like, why do you need so much money? He said they have to feed everyone, they have to do this. I can't remember the exact figures, but it was indeed very huge. I mean, and everybody who understands what it takes would also wonder, why do you need so much money to carry out this examination? But then again, I think I would like to toe the same line that everyone has, you know, some persons have told, which is, I think we should look into maybe taking Jamb off as a process to get our kids into the university. I think they should write the university.
Or breaking it down,
You know, just go straight. If you're interested in going to University of Ibadan,
but then there's also
sit down.
Standardization. Anyway, they still write post UTME.
It's the same thing. Just sit down and write the examination. If you decide to say, I want to study medicine in UI, I want to study engineering, just sit down, prepare for the examinations, write directly with the university as it is. I mean, going through the whole process of I have to write Jamb gives me a cutoff mark and so on.
Even after the struggles of Jamb, you still need to face the hurdle of post-UTME.
Exactly.
Man, it's really hard being a student these days.
I'm glad education has grown past this.
I'm glad that we didn't have to deal with a lot of
all of that.
Anyway,
education has grown
still talking about education, the education sector, we agree, needs a total overhaul and revamp. And it's not just at the tertiary levels. We're talking secondary school and primary schools. And speaking about the revamp in the education sector, some weeks back, we took a video of an altercation between a parent and someone who is either meant to be a proprietor or a principal of a school, where there were arguments as to a 4-year-old child not being asked to use the bath, not being allowed to use the toilet, and now it had snowballed into this very big issue. It had become a subject of national discourse. Everybody has been talking about it, and we, of course, addressed it on the show as well. We brought in an education expert, Ronke Adeni, CEO of Le Poche Schools, and she joined us here to talk about the story in detail. The analysis was about the education sector and about what was filmed in that video. We did try to reach out to the school. Unfortunately, we were not able to get, as we do not see any website for the school, and the numbers found online were all switched off. So this is an open invitation to the school in question to say that we want to have a full conversation about this on the show tomorrow. And we are hoping that we can hear all sides of the story, from the parent who was involved and who we hear her kids have now been expelled and sent to another school, to the school in question, which is said to be Anti-Joy School. We would like to get representatives from the school. So this is an open invitation so we can hear all sides of the story and present a fuller picture on the show tomorrow. We'll take it a step further and send them a message. Now that we see that they've now opened an Instagram account, we'll send them a message right after the show. But this is just to mention that we'll be discussing about this on air tomorrow. But that's all that we have this morning on Wake Up Conversations. Let's share with you what our top stories are this morning on News Central.